Continuing with the series on essential skills, and we come to the third book written by Lofty Wiseman, and it's this one, the SAS Survival Driver's Handbook. And in this, Lofty covers all aspects to do with vehicles. Now, when Lofty first joined the regiment, the very first overseas trip that he did was to Oman, and this was in the very early days, really before they had specialized troops, so they kind of all did all the roles. So they were involved, even though he was in what later became an air troop, he was involved in a lot of driving and under desert conditions and so on. So he had a very early introduction to the importance of vehicle maintenance, vehicle equipment, and the importance of doing checks and making sure that the vehicle was going to get you to your destination and back, because it could be mission critical to succeed, or even life critical. So from that start, Lofty was always interested in driving, and later on the regiment used motorcycles, cross-country motorcycles, and this sparked an interest in Lofty, which he took up as a hobby. He took up scrambling, and I attended one of the scrambling races he was in, where it was hauling a scramble bike through the mud up hills around Hereford. And he said to me it's one of the most physically arduous things he's ever done. But again, it was another aspect of vehicle and driver work. So the book is absolutely comprehensive. It covers a great deal, like the other manuals he did, and it covers everything from selecting a car to evasive driving and everything in between. One of the things that Lofty talks about is first parade checks, and this is the system where you check the vehicle before using it, to make sure that all the systems work, that the fuel and the lubricants are full, and so on. And you also have last parade checks at the end of the day, so the vehicle is topped up and ready to go in case you have a quick move in the night. And this carried over into VIP protection, and it's something that we used to do on the teams, the first parade checks, the last parade checks. So you always knew the state of the vehicle, you're always ready to go, and it cuts down on things like breakdowns and so on, which again can be very, very important. And another very important part is things like car kits, things that you should have in the car. I've long been an advocate for this, carrying just routinely in your own personal vehicle, carrying a bag with an assortment of essential kit. For example, I would recommend go to the Army surplus store and get an old Parker with a hood, one of those Fairline Parkers. They're very inexpensive. Have that in the car bag, and then if you have to change a wheel or something like this in filthy weather, or if you have to sleep in the car, you can wrap yourself up in the Parker. Things like candles, which will raise the temperature a couple of degrees in the car. And it may seem far-fetched, but I had a friend of mine was stuck for a couple of days in Cornwall during a spell of bad weather. There was a whole load of cars all stuck by the side of the road, snowed in, and you know, in those conditions, if you've got the right stuff with you, something to eat, things like chocolates, candle mint cake, sweets, and so on, and fluids, and the means to make a hot drink. So bit of thought to car kits can be very, very important. And along with that, the book does go into weather considerations, driving in all sorts of weather, obviously snow and ice and so on. There's a big section on personal security. I'll just have a look. I'll just get that one up. And obviously this ties in with some of the other books Lofty's written, like the Urban Survival Manual, and things like reducing the risks, under attack, road rage, hitchhikers, being followed, forced to stop, breakdowns and accidents. Now this is particularly relevant at this time. In the past couple of weeks, there's been in the news many attacks on women, and cases in the past where women motorists have been attacked in various circumstances. So that's a particular interest to women. Evasive driving, how to maximize your use of the car to get out of danger, and particularly interesting to security professionals. But if you're driving in some part of the world and you don't know, and unrest erupts, this can be a useful skill, even though if you're not in the business. So it's as I say, it's a very comprehensive book. It's got everything you'll want to know, and more. And what I would recommend is, it's a great birthday present or a Christmas present for anyone who's going to get their first car. So if you know somebody who's just coming into the world of driving, get them Lofty's book.